Welcome, friends, it's the Movie Film Podcast. Movie Film Podcast, enjoy the show. Zach and Sean and Ryan are talking about movies. Movie Film Podcast on the radio.
Welcome to Movie Film. This is episode 5, brought to you by Mr. Boy Productions. My name is Zaki Hassan. I am joined, as always, by, sitting on my right, Sean Coyle.
What?
That's right. You're sitting on my right.
I am?
Yeah, in an electronic, digital Tron sense.
Ah, well then konnichiwa, Zaki.
Yes. And sitting on my left, Brian Hall.
And what a lap it is. Hello, everybody.
We're off to a good start. So this is episode 5, which means we're either The Empire Strikes Back, or, if you go in release order, Attack of the Clones.
Oh, God.
No.
That's right.
What's it going to be?
Or if you prefer neither of the above, it's Rocky 5.
Yeah, all right.
No.
No.
So we get beat up by Tommy Gunn, the guy with the mullet.
Tommy Gunn. That's what it is. He's from Oklahoma.
Is he?
I remember that.
The real guy or the actor?
No, the character.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that guy is a real boxer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He had a real attitude.
He did.
Fantastic.
But Rocky straightened him out. He showed him what you learn on the streets.
Way to go, Rocky.
Not in the ring. Did you know, by the way, that Rocky was supposed to die at the end of that movie?
No.
Part 5?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What, like in the ring during the fight?
No. Well, it was going to be.
It was in the street, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a street. Remember, he says my ring's outside.
Well, yeah, but was it supposed to be at the end of the fight or at the end of the movie?
Yeah, at the end of the fight, because remember the whole movie, Rocky is dealing with brain damage and stuff. Right, and the doctor says, "You can't do it, Rock." The doctor sounds like Mickey, basically, from the other movie. He's the ghost of Mickey. But if he fights again, he will die, and so he does fight again, and Tommy Gunn beats him to death.
So would the movie have ended with the Jedi holograms of Carl Weathers and Stallone and Mickey?
Yeah, basically Rocky Jr. is looking off into the distance, and then the ghost of Rocky appears alongside Mickey and Apollo.
Nice.
Yeah. And then Clubber Lang shows up too as a ghost for unexplained reasons. No, it would have ended with him dying in Adrian's arms, and then there's a press conference that Adrian has where she's Rocky is dead, and then it would have ended on the statue, Rocky's statue.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
It's a good thing they did not go with that.
Seriously, right? I mean, that was the movie they were going to make, and Stallone was completely gung-ho for it, and the head of the studio, the head of MGM, who I don't think it was Arthur Krim at that time. I don't know who it was. But basically, the head of MGM was remember, we talked about this last time. MGM has very few properties that they can exploit, even back then. So they're like, dude, seriously, you can't kill Rocky because who knows how many more sequels we can get. And so they kept him alive, and then that killed the franchise anyway. So, except for 20 years later.
I liked Rocky Balboa.
I did like... you know what? I'll be honest. I liked Rocky 5 even, except for all the stuff that I didn't like about it. if that makes any sense at all. I just liked the character so much. I did like Rocky Balboa quite a bit. I'm sure you guys remember. I don't know if you guys remember this. When my first kid was born, you guys came up and helped me move. Well, you do remember that because that you will never forget that the hellish night that we went through with that. But that was the same time that Rocky Balboa was out. So on my DV I think I had Comcast at the time, so they had all the Rocky movies on demand. And what I remember about that weekend is just I kept pestering you guys because I would just keep going to all the different montages. And I'd be like, let's watch the montage from Rocky 2. Let's watch
They're all the same, Zaki.
Which is the one where, is that 2 where Rocky and Apollo splash each other in the ocean?
Oh, no, that's Rocky 3.
3.
Yeah. Because they're just jumping up and down and hugging in the water, and it's it's very manly. It's a bro hug, I guess.
Yeah.
And Leslie Nielsen and what's her name, Priscilla Presley come by.
Yeah.
Right. An arm and clothesline them.
They clothesline them. Yeah. Well, and the fourth Rocky is, of course, that's 75% montage.
Right.
Because it's just one music video after the other, and and I always point to that because that has a montage of other montages. which is the no easy way.
Right.
There's the no easy way out montage, and it's too. This is true. There's like the first training montage where Rocky's out there and he's like chopping wood or whatever.
Right.
And then he comes back to the house, and at that point, Adrian is there, and she's like, "I came to be with your rock," and he's like, "Oh," and then it's another training montage.
Is there a reason for that? Is that, I mean, were they padding the movie, or do you know?
Well, the movie is 90 minutes, so
With all the montages.
Yeah, you take it out, it's like 22 minutes. It's like an episode of The Office, basically. So I'm not sure what the thinking was. I mean, that was like the midst of the 80s where everything was thinking about selling the soundtrack and everything else.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know this for certain, but I wouldn't doubt that they just took the, No Easy Way Out, the Robert Tepper, and they just chopped it right out of the movie and made that the music video.
Oh yeah.
Because they did that with
Living in America.
Well, that's a different one, but yeah, that's another montage. That's a great movie, man. Rocky IV. That's something. I try to explain the awesomeness of that movie to my students, and they just have no concept. Like, it's just you can't explain it. It was such like a figment of its time. It's just sad. That's all. It's just very sad. The end. Yes. Good night, everybody. See you in 2 weeks. I'm going to cry now. So, all right. We've got a lot to talk about, but I don't know about you guys, but for the last 3 days, I've been ensconced in Indiana Jones on Blu-ray. I don't know, Sean. Did you pick up that set?
I have not yet.
Oh, you don't have a Blu-ray player.
I will. Yes, that's true.
Okay, so first thing you need to do.
Thanks for announcing that to the world.
Yeah. Brian, you did get it.
I did.
Have you had a chance to go through the movies?
Yeah, I haven't watched them all the way through, but I skipped a few of my favorite scenes, and I went through some of the bonus features. Did you watch any of the bonus stuff yet? Yeah,
I actually just about an hour ago before we recorded, I was working my way through the Raiders of the Lost Ark documentary.
Yeah, that thing is fantastic.
It's amazing. I mean, Sean, just the way they put this thing together, they basically have a documentary that's constructed of all the behind the scenes stuff that they shot while they were filming it.
Cool.
So
it's very fly on the wall.
Yeah, I was about to say
nice.
it's not. There's no contemporary interviews like looking back on it.
Cool.
So in other words, you're with the filmmakers in the process of them making this thing that they have no idea what it's going to become.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and go ahead, Brian.
No, I was going to say it's fascinating because I mean it's like uncensored. I mean you're watching for minutes at a time Spielberg direct, and you're listening to him like take gags that were on the page and sort of tweak and evolve them into what we recognize now that was in the finished product. So he'll do some gag that you're like, I don't remember this part, and then he realizes it's not working and he turns it into the scenes that we know now.
Right.
And it's pretty fascinating.
It's what really struck me is that this is Spielberg in his late 20s, and yet just the on the one hand like the confidence, and on the other hand the lack of confidence, where he doesn't know how it's going. And it's again, it really is like like you said, being a fly on the wall, where you're watching this thing come together, and we have the benefit of 30 plus years of hindsight. Well, you're making one of the greatest movies ever made.
Right.
But they don't know that, and just going through, Harrison Ford, they have him on set, and he talks about how he ended up doing the movie, and basically he's like, well, after Empire Strikes Back, I took some time off, and I was just looking for something to do, and he's like, nobody's really sending me any good scripts. And he's like, I don't get the scripts that the top actors are going to get, and it's like, that, like, well, 6 months later or a year later, he's never going to have that problem again.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting. What struck me is like, man, I'm sad that I've still got a few minutes left to get through this documentary. I'm like, I want to see this stuff for the other movies.
Yeah.
It
seems to be the only one that got the Raiders is the only one that got that sort of treatment.
Yeah, I mean, I would have.
That's too bad.
I would have loved to see. If they had any sort of recriminations while they were making Temple of Doom. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see the
how they came together for Last Crusade, and how Crystal Skull, just like the passive aggressive, like nobody's really happy, like, oh, guys, whatever, just just do what you want, you don't have to listen to me, and they're like, fine, George, what do you think, But as I was, I've been kind of in an Indiana Jones mode, so I actually went back and I looked up some of the old Young Indiana Jones episodes. Did you guys ever watch that show when you were kids?
On and off, yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, what are your memories of that show? Because it's really, I actually really rewatched some of them for the first time, and I was struck by the fact that it's not that good.
Yeah, I remember at the time thinking like, this is something feels off. This is very cheap. This isn't what I want. Coming off of the movies, especially.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just saying, you summed it up very well, actually, in the piece you wrote, Zackie'sCorner.com. You actually summed it up exactly how I remember it, where I don't remember it feeling cheap. I just remember it being very dull.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and just to go back to that article, I was like, if we knew then, this was the first time that Lucas took one of his beloved icons and was like, let's see him as a little kid, Yeah. It's like it was the start of a trend, And the stuff that bothered me the most about those old episodes was, of course, the old Indiana Jones.
Right.
Which I don't know if you guys had that issue with it when you were kids. But
I didn't like seeing him old.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly what bothered me.
Yeah.
Where he's Grandpa Simpson.
Yeah.
He's
this is what my favorite action movie, my movie hero is going to turn into. This old codger someday.
Yeah, who nobody listens to, and he's like, "Dang, damn it!" But the other thing, because according to the timeline of the show, and the way the show was structured, you had like the framing sequences, which were set in the quote unquote present, which was 1992 when the show aired.
Right.
And then it's old Indiana Jones looking back at his life. And so he's like 93 or 92 or whatever when that airs. And so then you start like doing the math in your head where you're like, oh, well then he's probably going to die soon. You start going down this very morbid, like it's like, okay, well now obviously Indiana Jones is dead, right?
Right.
It's like, I don't want to think about that,
No.
But that actually segues into, we always do trailer talk every week, and the first trailer I wanted to talk about was actually the Jackie Robinson movie, 52.
Yeah, 42.
42. 52 is the other baseball
That'll be
movie.
the sequel.
50. Yeah. That's right. Well, that's the Mickey.
Revenge of Jackie.
Oh no! Isn't that the Mickey Mantle movie? Isn't that 52?
61.
60. Oh, whatever. One of these numbers. Anyway.
You're all around it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just completely wrong. This is why I don't have a mind for sports. But Harrison Ford is in that as his manager, right?
Yeah, Branch Rickey.
Branch Rickey.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be honest. I saw, and he's obviously got some prosthetics or something, but he looks like old Indy from the TV show.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I was struck because I knew that he was going to be featured in the trailer, but I didn't recognize his voice at first.
Oh, okay.
And these aren't negative things. These are just. Sean and I were saying when we first got on here before we started recording that this is the first time I can really remember him playing a character.
Yeah.
And not just being Harrison Ford running through the woods away from Tommy Lee Jones, or Harrison Ford in an Amish community.
Yeah, it's very true.
Or Harrison Ford in Bespin.
You want a player who doesn't have the guts to fight back?
No, I want a player who's got the guts not to fight back.
You give me a uniform. You give me a number on my back. I'll give you the guts.
Yeah.
Well,
and that's not a bad thing. I love Harrison Ford. I'd watch Harrison Ford play a janitor. You know what I mean? But it's just interesting to see him talk in a different voice and wear prosthetics and
Yeah.
Well, I think that, that this is, and I don't remember who said it, but, it was something to the effect of like every leading man will eventually reach that stage of their career where they transition into the character roles. And, it's just, we saw it, Charlton Heston did that, Paul Newman did that, and it's just Harrison Ford's time.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, we were kind of ripping on him last week with
Don't drag us into this. You You said you never want to see him in a movie again.
I did not. Well, now hold on a second. What I said was that movie made me think something I never thought I would think, which is that
You want Harrison Ford to stop acting.
Yes, but I didn't say I want him to. I said I was thinking I wanted him to, and maybe I still will, by the way, because we don't know. We don't know how good this movie is.
I don't know. I don't want to see him pretend to be an action star anymore. But I would like to see him continue acting.
Well, let me ask you something. I mean, obviously, with all the indie talk, the chatter comes up again about possibly Indy 5. I mean, is that something you want to see?
I was fortunate enough to be able to go to a Raiders screening this past week, and Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford were in attendance.
Okay.
Yeah, get ready for the name droppings. Yeah.
And, my good friend Wally Sheeshman.
Sheesh, man.
No, but they were there, and this is no slight. I love Harrison Ford, but Harrison Ford was a surprise guest.
Okay.
And he was waiting in the wings to have his scripted surprise entrance.
Okay.
And he happened to be right next to me, and someone I was working with. We saw him, but we didn't know who it was because we didn't know he was going to be there.
Yeah.
And we saw this old man, gray hair, and no joke, we didn't say this. We said this at the end. We both had the exact same thought. We were like, is that Frank Langella?
Oh, my God.
I couldn't believe it. We both thought the exact same thing. And then when he went up on stage, we're like, oh.
Oh, wow.
So, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's almost 70, if not 70 years old. And,
yeah, he's over 70 now, yeah.
Yeah, he's an older guy. So, and that's fine. Like I was saying, I want to see him continue acting, but I don't know that I want to see him as Indiana Jones again.
Yeah. Well, just to throw some figures at you, Harrison Ford is now about 4 years younger than George Hall was when he played Old Indy.
Huh.
And he's almost 20 years older than Sean Connery was when he played Indy's dad. So,
wow.
Yeah. Right?
Wow.
So that would make me 67 years old.
Very good.
Right? Yeah.
No, but when they were on stage, I was going to say Steven and Harrison. It did sound like I was a name dropper.
Yeah, it's
but
a little douchey.
I don't know them. I talked to them. But anyway, when they were on stage, they seemed very enthusiastic about doing a 5. Like, genuinely enthusiastic about it. And it seems like they're goading George Lucas all the time about it.
I think they're desperate to right the wrongs of the 4th one.
I bet.
I'm sure they are. Well, here's my impression of Harrison Ford being enthusiastic about Indiana Jones 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really it's pretty. Steven, think about it. And I told George, maybe. There it is.
That's right, Mr. Ford. It is my birthday.
Yeah, we talked about this before, but I mean the experience of seeing Crystal Skull was just that's an experience I will always remember, not in a good way.
No. Because
it was really you called it the there is no Santa moment, and that's what it is, man. And I popped it in actually. I haven't seen it in since we watched it, and I popped it in this week, and it's actually gotten worse.
I bet.
Because at the time in my review, it was kind of like an ass-kissy review in hindsight. Because I was like,
probably trying to talk yourself out of your negative feelings. I was like that with Phantom Menace and all those movies. I was trying to talk myself into liking them.
Well, it's funny that you say that because my review of Crystal Skull, the last paragraph somewhere in there, I say, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is good but not great, and for an Indiana Jones movie, that can't help but be a disappointment. And here's the interesting thing. I went back into my archives and I dug up my Phantom Menace review. And swear to God, this is the end of my Phantom Menace review. Star Wars Phantom Menace is good but not great. And for a Star Wars movie, that can't help but be a disappointment.
No way.
I swear to God. I had no recollection of actually having written that, but it shows how we really do twist ourselves in knots, because it's like the alternative is like, oh my gosh, Star Wars sucks? That can't be right, Indiana Jones sucks? Wait a minute, hold the phone,
Yeah.
So George Lucas,
It's funny, my boss, everybody has been coming into work and showing off, like, dude, you get Indiana Jones? And everybody's bringing their DVDs to work, which is funny.
Bringing their that is weird. Look what I got.
Came in today, and he he's like, "Look what I got," and he showed it to me, and he crossed out because I guess on the sticker on the front it says all 4 movies.
Oh, okay.
And with magic marker on the plastic, of course, he crossed out 4 and wrote 3.
Nice.
And then I looked up and he's smiling. He's like, "That's right, I got the only one."
That's hilarious.
I was telling everyone at work I got it was 3 movies and a coaster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's sad.
Yeah.
It is sad.
It is sad. It is sad. And it's funny, I should say, too, because this probably all relates, but with us longing to love the 4th movie. But everyone at work, I had loaned a DVD version of Raiders to someone at work because their kid had never seen it. And then the very next day, I bought the Blu-rays, and they saw the Blu-rays, and they're like, "What? You already own those. Like, why would you buy them again?" And I was like, "You don't understand. Like, being a child of the 80s, it's my obligation to, like, give money to Lucas and hate myself for it. But still sort of love it." Like, that's just... And it's like, I'm kind of kidding, but I'm sort of serious. Like, I think it's sort of in our DNA.
Well, yeah, I mean, in the last about 15 years, let's say, I bought, they put out like a set of the trilogy on VHS. So this is like 99. And then they put out, and then I bought them again on DVD in 03. And then these Blu-rays. And I've done the same thing with Star Wars. So yeah, man. I don't know. We need help.
Same.
I think that's the moral of the story. Jeez, there's something wrong with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my boys are so into it, and it's just it's so fascinating to just see these films again through their eyes, both Star Wars and Indiana Jones. We talked a few weeks ago about the Raiders re-release, and I took my oldest to that, and just I mean, he's getting to experience it for the first time. It's all fresh and new for him. I think that's just super cool,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. And then one more thing I want to say about them.
Yeah.
Sean, you did not see it in the theater, right?
Raiders?
When it was out this past week or two.
Not this re-release, no. But
something that really struck me about it was they did such a fantastic job cleaning the movie up and restoring it.
Yeah.
And I mean, the IMAX presentation wasn't without a few hiccups, but there were so many shots that looked like it had been filmed yesterday.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And what was so odd about that, though, in a way, was seeing Harrison Ford as in his early 30s or whatever it was, on film that looked like it could have been shot today. Like, there was something sort of trippy about that to me, where it was like, when you see Harrison Ford young, the film is supposed to look a little faded. It's supposed to look like it's from like the early 80s, but seeing something like brand new with him as a young man was like, I don't know, there's something kind of weird about that, but like kind of awesome that they have the technology to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Raiders looks great, but I was actually really impressed with Last Crusade, how amazing that transfer is. Because I think that's the one I've seen the most, so I'm the most familiar with it, and just to see renewed detail that you've just never noticed before, or to see, the pores on his cheeks, and to see the sweat. I mean, it's just amazing. Like I continue to be amazed by just what Blu-ray allows. This is we all three of us have memory of VHS.
Oh yeah.
And I have a feeling that our brains we would explode like the people looking into the Ark if we were to watch these things on VHS again, because it's just it's like our perception has been altered.
Yeah.
But other news, we're moving into, as we said, we were talking some trailers and a little connective tissue here. We've got the new Spielberg flick, Lincoln, coming out.
Yay.
We're stepped out upon the world stage now, with the fate of human dignity in our hands. Blood's been spilt to afford us this moment now.
No one's ever been loved so much by the people. Don't waste that power.
This fight is for the United States of America.
Can we choose to be born, or are we fitted to the times we're born into?
This settles the fate for all coming time. Not only of the millions now in bondage, but of unborn millions to come.
Shall we stop this bleeding?
What do you guys think? Brian, what are your thoughts? I think you're a pretty big Spielberg fan. I'm curious to hear your take on the Lincoln trailer, starring Daniel Day-Lewis, of course.
I am a big Spielberg fan, and I'm kind of high on him right now because of all the indie stuff this past week. But watching the trailer, I was like, this looks promising.
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that it's not sort of like a Hallmark Hall of Fame sort of movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something very like syrupy about it, and I don't know. I'm just hoping that I don't need like a hard-edged Lincoln movie or anything where it's like Lincoln was cheating with the midwife. Like I don't need anything like that.
Vampires,
yeah. But no, I just hope it's not soft. Or you know what I mean?
No, I hear you. I kind of had the same reaction, to be honest. I mean, I'll watch it, of course. I'm definitely curious to see it. But Spielberg, he has his Amistad movies, which are like very competently made, and you admire them, but you don't really like them. Like that's how I feel with Amistad, which I think it's like that's a good movie, you know what I mean? But it's not like, oh, let's pop in Amistad, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
And I worry that this is going to be one of those. I know that a lot of people are sort of ripping on Daniel Day-Lewis's voice as Lincoln.
What?
Yeah,
I think his transformation is mind-boggling.
It's amazing. Yeah,
that guy's incredible.
Well, in terms of his appearance, no doubt. Yeah, the criticism is that he doesn't sound like we've been like how exactly. How movies have told us Abe Lincoln is supposed to sound. And literally for the last week, like, oh, what's with Lincoln's voice? He sounds, Jeffrey Wells, who's a columnist, he sounds like Matthew Modine.
Yeah, but nobody knows what Lincoln sounded like aside from historical documents.
Well,
which say that his voice sounded like it does in the trailer.
Yeah, it was higher pitched.
Kind of high pitched, like my countrymen.
Yeah.
Well, that's the interesting thing. It got me thinking about how we, how film or how Hollywood sort of creates this collective hallucination of what we think things are like. Mm-hmm. And I think like we all have in our mind sort of the Lincoln voice.
Yeah.
Which is very stentorian and very, very serious sounding. You don't picture kind of the way Daniel Day-Lewis is doing it. And it's here you've got something that's being ascribed as closer to the way it's supposed to be, but no, it doesn't match our collective hallucination of it.
Right.
So it's wrong.
I don't care. I think it looks great.
I'm cautiously. I was not blown away by the trailer, but that doesn't mean I'm not interested in seeing it. Like I felt like it was a weakness of the trailer rather than the film itself. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get an awesome performance from Daniel Day-Lewis. We're going to get a new John Williams score, which is always great.
Yeah.
The only thing that took me out of it actually was I thought Tommy Lee Jones looked really goofy.
Oh, you ain't lying, man. He looked like Little Lord Fauntleroy or something. He had this goofy hair. Yeah, exactly. Well, and every time I see him, I remember what Paul said in our last episode, where he's like, he reached a certain age and he just stopped aging, but he stopped at old.
Stopped at old.
I always think about that now. Yeah. But in other trailer news, I need you guys to kind of walk me off the ledge here, because they just put out the new Hobbit trailer just yesterday.
Here, Mr. Bilbo, where are you off to? I'm going on an adventure.
Mithrandir, why the halfling?
Why Bilbo Baggins? Perhaps it's because I'm afraid. And it gives me courage.
So this is your purpose, to enter the mountain?
What of it?
There are some who would not deem it wise.
A dark power has found a way back into the world.
Loyalty. Honor. A willing heart. I can ask no more than that. Home is now behind you. The world is ahead.
I don't know, guys. I'm feeling complete and utter apathy towards The Hobbit.
Yeah, I had a reaction where I was like, that looks awesome, but whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not super excited for some reason. And it's kind of, I think one reason is because I feel like I've seen this story before.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they're going to be amazing. I'm sure I'm going to love them. But I don't I'm not going to be like the first one in line. I'm not going to rush off to some midnight show. I'm going to see this one on my own terms. Just something about it. I can't put my finger on it, but I totally agree with you, Zachy.
Yeah, it's one of the, like, look, let's be honest. Who are we kidding? All three of us are going to end up seeing it.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, so this is all kind of like everything we're saying here means basically nothing. But literally, I mean, I was watching it and I was like, it looks fine. There's nothing wrong with it per se. Obviously on a technical level, it's all there. It's great to see Ian McKellen there as Gandalf again. But I'm just like, I can't sum up any enthusiasm for this. I don't know. Brian, am I wrong here? What do you think?
You know, I went into the first trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, not having read any of the books, not seeing any of the cartoons. I knew nothing about it. And I watched it, the first one, and I was like, that was okay. And then I talked to some people who were more enthusiastic about it, and it got me a little more enthusiastic about it. You know, and then I developed like a relationship with the characters. Mm-hmm. And so I think then by the time, Samwise is carrying Frodo up the volcano at the end, I mean, that was...
Oh, yeah.
That had been earned, and I really, again, knowing nothing about the books, just taking this journey with the films, that meant a lot to me. And, so those are special movies to me now. So I'm hoping, I know nothing about these guys. Seeing them, it looks different. I don't see anyone I recognize, which is sort of like not encouraging. But at the same time, I'm hoping to develop something for these people,
Yeah. Do you guys think that this suffers from... Perhaps this suffers from prequel syndrome?
I think it absolutely does. Now there's a difference because obviously the book was written first.
Yeah.
Right. But to me, I was talking about this actually with a friend where I was like, everything of value in this story we got in the prologue of Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's kind of like there's like 5 minutes there or whatever, and of that 5 minutes, there's like 30 seconds where we see Ian Holm pick up the ring, and he's like, hey, look at this thing. I'll put this on my finger, off we go, right? That's it. That's like what we need to know. So you're telling me that in that 30 seconds, there's 9 hours worth? I don't see that.
That's actually a little sort of, watered it down a little bit, where it's not like, I mean, the books, it's one book, and it's not that big. You know what I mean? And so to squeeze so much from that makes me a little concerned.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, and again, I don't think any of us has read the books, and we talked about this in a previous episode, but Peter Jackson's whole thing is like, I want to expand on what Tolkien put into his appendices and, bridge the gap between these movies and the other ones. And I'm just like, man, you can hang as many Christmas lights on it as you want. What it comes down to is that you want to, this is about money.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, so I don't know. I'm sure it'll do well, and I'm sure it'll probably be fine. But it does feel very arbitrary, and I don't think it's going to have the epicness of the other ones. It can't because that story doesn't.
I agree.
I mean, I remember watching Fellowship of the Ring opening day, and I went in with no knowledge of the story. We all went as a group. I think it was you, me, and Paul. I think Sean.
Yeah.
And and it's funny because in when you compare it to the other movies, it's relatively small scale. But like in that film, the scale of like the battle on the bridge, and then that fight at the end. When Sean Bean gets killed and stuff. I mean,
that was the moment for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that stuff still stays with me. Like I still have very clear memories of my own sort of emotional reaction to that stuff.
Yeah.
And yet I haven't really watched them since. So.
Yeah, that amped up emotion in that Sean Bean death scene. I just remember feeling. I still remember. Like I can remember the feeling. Like you remember the smell of freshly cut grass, or like a freshly oiled baseball mitt or something.
Yeah,
I just remember feeling like this movie is amazing.
What was it? Was it in our screening where like the projector gave out right at that moment?
That's when you and I saw it the second time. Yeah.
Was it the second time? Okay.
Yeah. No, you're right. It was the first time because we were thinking like this would be such an awesome way to end it on a cliffhanger. We thought it was intentional at first, yeah.
What I remember thinking at that time, because that was really Viggo Mortensen's kind of breakout movie. I mean, he'd been consistently working. for years and years. But like I remember thinking at the time, I was like, he's the Harrison Ford of this movie.
Oh yeah.
And that's kind of been borne out in the sense that he's had probably the best career. He's obviously had a very different career than Harrison Ford, but I think of all of those Lord of the Rings actors, he's the one who's really gone on to the biggest stardom.
Yeah.
So I guess that would make Orlando Bloom the Mark Hamill.
Wow, yeah.
Right? Cause,
I'll be damned.
Yeah, because Orlando Bloom kind of had his Corvette summer. He did that Cameron Crowe movie.
Name dropping Corvette Summer.
Remember Corvette Summer?
Listeners, I hope you're impressed.
So moving on, there's a couple of new releases coming out. One of which I've seen, one of which I have not. Dread 3D is coming out this weekend. We're recording. Today is I don't even know what day it is. Today is the 20th. Yeah, we're recording on the 20th. So Dread 3D actually comes out tonight. So it will be out. I will have seen it by the time you're listening to this, but I have not seen it as of yet. But I did see Trouble with the Curve last week, which is the new Steven Spielberg. It's the new Clint Eastwood flick. Mm-hmm. And it is not good. Yeah. It's in fact, I'll go so far as to say it is terrible.
Wow.
Really?
It is a terrible movie.
Well, it's a favor movie, isn't it? Isn't it like his producing partner or something's first
I guess,
movie?
Man, but some
I believe so, Sean.
some favors ain't worth it. Yeah, it is. It's the director's Robert Lorenzo, who produced I think the last few Spielberg. Why do I keep saying Spielberg? The last few Eastwood movies, and as near as I can figure, I mean he caught him at like a moment of weakness. Because this is like, I'm not kidding, it's like a Lifetime movie.
So it was like Seinfeld agreeing to wear the puffy shirt?
It really is. This is Eastwood's puffy shirt.
Like, I agreed to be in this movie?
Oh my goodness. It's one of those movies, and you know, we talked last time about how, you know, maybe just because we watch so many movies, we've built up kind of like an armor coating where a lot of stuff that other people, you know, respond to, maybe we don't. But it's like if you can't predict every single major plot point, like every conflict and resolution inside the first 15 minutes, then you literally have just been born in the last few months. And this is the first movie you're ever seeing, you know? I feel like if this was what he came back for, it's not worth it. Like, he should have ended his acting career on Gran Torino.
Gran Torino.
That's an amazing film.
Yes.
I love it.
Gran Torino is as amazing as this is not.
Wow.
So that should tell you something.
Well, it's kind of funny you say that because, I mean, from the previews I was seeing, I was getting the impression of everything you're saying right now.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to read some, I guess, decent is the word, reviews.
Yeah.
I was on AV Club, and normally they're really tough on stuff, and they gave it like a B, and they were saying everything too. It's predictable, but it's good.
But it's predictable in a way where it doesn't feel like, oh, I saw that coming, but oh, okay, you know, it's not like that because everything is it's like telegraphed. You know, it's not choreographed; it's telegraphed. You know, to the point where you have stuff happen. I mean, it's so. Let me lay it out. So you've got basically Clint Eastwood is this. He's a scout for the Braves, for the Atlanta Braves, and you know his eyesight is going, and he's like 900 years old, however old he is, and so you know the organization wants to kind of move to like a computer model. And so you've got, I mean, God, these characters, honestly. You've got John Goodman is like in the front office as like Clint Eastwood's ally, and then you have Matthew Lillard, who, you know, where the hell has he been, as douchebag new guy. And that's literally all he is. He's douchebag new guy. Yeah. So he's like the same douchebag he is in every other movie.
I'm bored already.
Yeah, he's like, hey, well, are you gonna like use your eyes instead of the computer? Yeah, you know, I'll be right back. You know, you know, he's that guy, and they're sent out to, so Clint Eastwood is sent out to scout this potential prospect who plays for the minor leagues, whatever, and the guy is, you know, and he's just this phenom who everybody is flocking to see, and all these other teams are interested in him, but the Braves, you know, get first pick or whatever, so he could potentially be their first draft, right? And the problem is that he's portrayed as this complete a-hole. The whole time. So there's, he's just like, he picks on kind of the weaker people on the team, and he sort of berates the peanut vendors and stuff. Just like a completely unlikable character. You know what I mean? And it, like, literally right in the beginning of the movie, this is like in the first half hour, he's like, hey, Peanut Man, give me some peanuts or something. And the guy, like, throws it, and he has this amazing throw. So you're like, okay, well, obviously this is going to pay off. Right, and the guy's like, that'll be $2. He's like, put it on my tab, and you're like, God, what a jerk, So right away, right there, okay, obviously Clint Eastwood is gonna find some reason not to pick this guy because he's such a jerk.
Right.
So we know enough about movies, and then we know somehow it's going to involve like Peanut Man, who has the arm from Rookie of the Year, So, I mean, it's oh my goodness, what a waste. It was worth the nothing I paid for it, barely, I guess. But one thing I will say, and this is just how films are sort of contextual with every. Obviously you guys have heard all the stuff with Clint Eastwood lately. And in the first 2 minutes of the movie, he's standing at a urinal, basically yelling at the urinal, and then he trips over a table and swears at it. And I'm like, it's not just chairs that he yells at.
What does he yell at the urinal? Like, accept my offering.
He's kind of like, hurry up, come on. I think he's yelling at his wiener to finish peeing. But
now that I want to see.
Yeah, that would have been a more interesting movie. 90 minutes of Eastwood yelling at his wiener. That I would have paid for. So the other big movie, like I said, is Dread 3D, which I have not seen, but I just checked Rotten Tomatoes, and it's at 82%.
Shocking.
Which is insane to me because that does not seem like the type of movie that would be getting good reviews. Now maybe that'll change once some of the big reviews hit tomorrow. But as it stands, I mean, it seems to be certified fresh. So I'm very, very curious to see that.
I thought that'd be sort of a Ghost Rider, sort of.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking of Conan the Barbarian from last year, which that was also by Lionsgate, and although I will say I didn't mind that movie, but I am the only person on earth who didn't mind that movie. So,
you think that's because you're so familiar with the character more so than other people?
I actually do think that. I think that to me, Jason Momoa, who played Conan in that movie, is a truer depiction of that character than far, far truer than Schwarzenegger ever was.
Blasphemy.
Well, it's true. I mean, let me put it this way. Now, granted, I haven't read the novels, but I've read all of the Conan comic books from Marvel, which are fairly true to the character. I have the entire run of the Marvel books, which were lasted from the 70s through the 90s. And when you read those comics, Conan is wily and he's cunning. So it's
like
yes.
the coyote.
Okay, so I'm going to move on. Yeah. So he's cunning. That was just awkward and uncomfortable, Sean. I just want you to know. But he's let me put it this way: I don't ever read the comics and hear Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice.
I hear Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice when I talk to my wiener.
Oh, okay. When it talks back to you, you mean?
So good to see you. Welcome back.
I'm winking at you.
Remember when I said I'd kill you last? I lied. I don't know why your wiener would say that, but But moving on, some other Hollywood headlines very quickly. We have a new segment that we're introducing here, which is not really a new segment, but more a new label, which is sequels, prequels, remakes, and reboots, which is a bit of a mouthful, but it sums up everything that we want to talk about here.
Why don't you try it again? Say it again.
Sequels, prequels, remakes, and reboots. What do you got? You think I just pulled that out of the clear blue sky?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's
Why are
right.
you yelling at me?
So last time we were talking about the RoboCop reboot, and now there are pics of the costume of the RoboCop suit.
Yes.
I want to get you guys' take on this. Brian, what do you think?
I don't like it at all.
Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to contribute to this conversation. To me, RoboCop has always just kind of been like a meh character, to steal a Brian term. Meh.
Yes, Brian invented that. No one ever used it before him.
No, that is true. I always saw
it came to me when I was watching Spider-Man. It's given to me from heaven.
It was injected into your brain.
It's like, meh.
I always thought RoboCop was a poor man's Terminator.
Oh, Sean.
It was kind of like the people that, you have to either choose Star Trek or Star Wars, which one you like better.
Yeah.
I always felt growing up it was the same kind of thing. It's like, you either like the Terminator or you like RoboCop. Which is it going to be?
But they're not similar.
Yeah, but I'm talking in 8-year-old playground logic.
Your 8-year-old self was dumb.
My 8-year-old self would kick your ass.
Guys, do not argue. Sean's wiener. Oh my gosh.
Well, given that, Sean, I mean, you don't have any attachment to the character per se. What do you think of his new duds?
Uninspired. It just it was like exactly what I was expecting.
Okay.
Like a modernized version of RoboCop.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't anything mind blowing.
It looked to me like they smushed the Christopher Nolan Batman suit with the black uniforms in the G.I. Joe movie.
Yes.
And you kind of smush them together, and you get this. Brian, what do you think? I think you like RoboCop a little bit more, at least the first film.
Yeah, I do. And I'm not gonna. I don't have like a huge romantic history with it or anything, but I do like the movie a lot. And I want my RoboCop to look like Robo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want him to look a little more robotic than that. But I will say this. I mean, that's it looks like he's being shuttled to or from set.
Yeah.
And there could be some sort of extensions that are going to be added. Maybe he's, he was missing like his human hand was showing. I mean, maybe, I don't know. We don't know exactly what we were looking at, but based on what we saw, yeah, it looks way too human-like, like just a suit, like a Batman suit.
Yeah, it's I'm willing to give him some leeway. Like maybe that's the way the story is structured. Like it's meant to convey the impression that it's a suit when in fact it's not. Because. This is definitely, just from what I've read, this is not exactly a one-to-one redo of the original.
Right.
But, it struck me, like, as I looked at the picture, and then I went back and I kind of Googled some images of Peter Weller in the first one. Peter Weller played RoboCop in the first and the second one, and then they got, Robert Burke played him in the third one. But the way the suit looks in the first RoboCop, what's really interesting about it is that it doesn't look like a suit. And what I mean by that is that at the time, Peter Weller was so thin that, his physique was part of the reason he was hired. And so, in other words, he fits inside this thing, and it looks like his body. Like, it's not a man in a suit. This is the guy's body.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I'll buy that for $1.
Yeah. Oh, man. He's on a roll
full
tonight.
Of them today. Huh.
And that's different with the second one, because in the second one, Peter Weller, obviously, somebody gave him a sandwich, and so it looks like he's wearing a suit. But the way he looks in that first film, it looks like a robot.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's a little bit missing here, which is I'm a little bit sad about. Again, like you said, these pictures are not official, and I'm willing to give a little bit of wiggle room for the studio to kind of come in and put out their official shots, so that we can see how that's going to look. But
I wouldn't hold your breath. That's my gut. My gut says don't hold your breath.
Well, what's interesting, though? Think about what robots used to look like. Like Johnny Five and RoboCop, and then you go even further back, like Lost in Space, and robots look like these machines. But now, in real life, actually building these humanoid sort of robots.
Yeah.
They make them look like humans. They don't look boxy or mechanical per se. They try to make them look like, I guess, like cyborgs or something. So maybe,
You mean like living tissue over metal endoskeleton? As my wiener would say.
I do, yeah.
Well, I was thinking of like iRobot.
Yeah.
That was
stylized humanoid.
Yeah. That was kind of a different take, and that's a movie I think. I liked it when I first saw it. It's kind of been forgotten now, but I appreciated Alex Proyas his kind of vision of future technology in that.
Right.
I feel like any new version of RoboCop has to take stuff like that into account, where he's able to do stuff like jump and run and kind of be mobile. But yeah, I have a feeling we'll have more to talk about with RoboCop as we sort of find out more about it. Other news: the Star Trek sequel. They announced the title, or the title's been revealed. I don't know if it's been officially announced. It's called Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah.
Works for me.
That sounds horrible to me. It's not Star Trek : Into Darkness, which is still kind of bad. It's Star Trek Into Darkness.
Oh, I see.
Star Trekking into darkness, like that.
That's a little silly.
It's goofy. I don't understand the thinking behind that, because apparently Damon Lindelof is like the cause of a lot of problems lately. It seems like.
Yeah.
His whole thing was like, oh, we don't want to have like the colon because that's been done so many times, so we want to do something clever. And it's like, well, this isn't clever. It's just goofy sounding.
So this isn't Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars: Return of the Jedi. You know what I mean? Like,
no.
The franchise is called Star Trek. The title is actually, this film is called Into Darkness.
No, it's Star Trek Into Darkness.
Okay.
It's like, I'll give you an example. Actually, here's one. The movie Midnight Run with Robert De Niro and Charles Grodin. Yeah. So in the mid '90s, right? They had these like made for TV sequels to Midnight Run.
Really?
Yeah, and so it was like. And they didn't have De Niro. It was some random guy who looked like him, and it was like another Midnight Run, and then it was Midnight Run Around, and so it was like they were trying to squeeze the title in while being clever with it. That's what
they're trying to avoid Star Trek 2 because there already is a Star Trek 2.
I mean that's my guess, right? But I'm kind of I'm sure that's it, because you just can't call it Star Trek 2. That's like
right.
That's like you're just setting yourself up for a poor comparison there, but. I feel like there had to have been a better way to. The next one should be called Spock On or something like that.
Spock On. Trek Harder.
Trek Harder. Right. Other news in the reboot realm. We have Godzilla. They're doing Godzilla again.
Yeah. Just reading about that.
Yeah, this is coming from Legendary Films, and they're the ones who basically co-finance all of Warner Brothers' big franchise movies, so Superman and the Dark Knight movies. But here's my question: is anyone asking for another Godzilla movie?
No. Well, is anybody attached to it?
Somebody is attached to it. Let me look that up actually, because I don't remember off the top. It's not Roland Emmerich, I'll tell you that much. It's somebody. Wait, hold on. It's. Well, when is it even coming out? It's coming out in 2014, and I'll have to pull that up in just a second. But I mean, is the Sony Godzilla from 1998, is that far enough away for people to put that out of their mind?
Yeah, I don't think anybody remembers that movie. Well, they remember it, but whoever talks about it or references it or sees it ever on television.
Yeah. I remember when that. By the way, the new one is being directed by Gareth Edwards, who I don't know who that is. But the script is by David Goyer, who he wrote the Dark Knight movies. But I remember when the 1998 Godzilla came out. Do you guys remember the mountain of hype?
Oh yeah.
Well, that teaser trailer was amazing with the two old guys fishing off the pier.
That's right.
That was pretty awesome.
Well, I mean, they started hyping that up the summer before, if you remember, because the summer before was The Lost World was like the big hit.
Right. Yeah.
And The Lost World just obliterated opening weekend records, and from then Sony was like, oh well, Godzilla's just gonna trounce on this.
Yeah.
And there was all this hype, and it's funny because to me, Godzilla is like my first recollection of not so much the Hollywood hype machine, which is of course has been sort of omnipresent all my life, but like how Hollywood can lie to us. Because I had some set of expectations which was completely out of sorts with my like attachment to the character or anything like that, because I don't really have any. But all the hype had me absolutely convinced. Like, of course, this is just going to be an amazing, amazing movie.
Yeah.
And they made such a big deal about not showing what Godzilla looked like.
Right.
You remember that? And so it was when they were promoting it before the film had come out, like if you went to Taco Bell and bought a Godzilla cup, it was just like a picture of his foot.
Yeah, that's right.
Or the
which
eyes,
was crazy. And then you went into the theater and you saw it and you're like, oh.
Yeah, that's the interesting thing is that Roland Emmerich, who directed it, and Dean Devlin, the producer, I mean, they were coming off of Independence Day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Sony basically handed him the keys to the kingdom to get him on board. And, I was reading a book about the movies from that summer and how John Calley, who was the head of Sony at the time, I mean, he basically put his entire credibility on the line for these guys, and they were so far behind schedule that there was no time to test screen it, and there was no time to do any of the stuff that you would naturally do.
All shows, yeah.
And it absolutely shows, and I just actually rewatched it relatively recently, and my God, you talk about a movie that absolutely does not hold up at all.
Did it hold
I'd be
up
curious
then?
to watch it again.
It didn't hold up then either, but now it's, I mean, removed completely from sort of that hype machine. You're like this is what they were considering, the biggest hit of the year.
You know what? I would be interested to see a Godzilla movie directed by a director with more of a quirky thumb, like a Joe Dante or even like an Edgar Wright, like somebody that could utilize practical effects and matte paintings and so animatronics and like a very stylized version of that story. Yeah. Rather than what Emmerich did, which was just straight up, look what computers can do. It made a giant lizard.
I'm wondering if there's really if there's anything left to say in that genre, right? I mean, we get it. Like, why are they bringing Godzilla back? Well, why the hell not? It's another IP to renew, right? But I mean, isn't Cloverfield kind of like the last word on that genre, basically?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't go that like what Peter Jackson did with King Kong. Like, don't go that serious monster movie route. Make it a little more tongue in cheek.
Okay, so you make it tongue in cheek. You still have a giant monster destroying a city.
It'd be more enjoyable, I think, if it didn't take itself so seriously.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree with that. I'm just kind of like, what more is there to say here?
Oh yeah. I mean, you can argue that with just about every.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, good point.
Every year,
every sequel, prequel, remake, or reboot. Actually, and a little like addendum to the '98 Godzilla, the Sony Godzilla. What's the people at Toho, which is the Japanese company that owns Godzilla, they were so pissed off at how the American Godzilla turned out that they sort of restarted their own. They brought back the Japanese Godzilla shortly thereafter, and they actually in one of their movies, I believe it's like the last Godzilla movie that they did, they actually had the American Godzilla show up as a villain. That the Japanese Godzilla fights, and they even bring it up like, oh yeah, this guy showed up in America, and like people thought he was Godzilla. Like it's in the so they somehow in continuity, and then they have the Japanese Godzilla just like swat him aside and kill him.
Was that? I mean, is that a big CG sort of spectacle movies they're making over there with these big Godzilla things? Are those? That's something that's still happening?
Well, no, I'm not. I can't say I'm intimately familiar with the way that they make the Godzilla movies there, but the tradition with Godzilla is apparently that it's always a guy in a suit.
Okay, to this day, that's kind of what I was wondering.
To this day, but when they did the American Godzilla, it was a CG character.
I would love to see a Three Stooges meets Godzilla movie.
There you go. Hey, Sean, did you ever get to see the Three Stooges movie, by the way?
I still have not, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I just saw it a few weeks ago. I just saw it last week, as a matter of fact, and I have to admit, I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Good, yeah. I liked the trailer. I liked what I saw in the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it was just it's a Three Stooges movie. I mean, it gives you exactly what the title promises. I think the actors are just spot on. I mean, they were fantastic, and it's low risk, low reward. I mean, it's not the greatest comedy of all time, but it's just a lot of fun. If you're a Stooge fan, I mean, I don't see what's not to like about it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember people ragging on that trailer when it came out, and I'm thinking, like, well, what do you expect?
Yeah,
what are you expecting from a Three Stooges movie?
Yeah, it is a Three Stooges movie. So, enough said, I guess.
Well, good. I'm glad if you like it, that means I'll probably like it. So.
Yeah, well, and for the folks listening, I mean, Sean is just the biggest Stooge fan I know. He's got the memorabilia. He had some ceramic plates that I destroyed by accident. But
In Stooge-like fashion.
I pulled a Shemp. Yeah.
Yeah, Hurricane Zacky came to town. And
do you remember the made-for-TV movie, the biopic about the Stooges?
yes, it was very sad.
It was like the most depressing movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, Michael Chiklis just like dying alone in a hospital room.
Yeah, you see him like he's
Curly.
playing Curly after he's had his stroke, and he's kind of like crying, in like bestroked, you know. And then they go to commercial, and they're like, "And Shemp is dead too." Like, it was just horrible. and the Stooges are all broke. Like, and I was thinking about how when I was a kid, there was a similar movie that I saw that starred Harvey Korman and Buddy Hackett as Bud Abbott and Lou Costello. And that was his same thing, man. It's just depressing, and there's Lou has his heart attack, and I'm like, geez, Louise, you know?
Yeah, I mean, what's more depressing is that stuff is true. Like,
yeah, but it's like you feel bad laughing at the Stooges when you're like, oh, there's Mo hitting Curly, probably exacerbating his stroke, you know? Like it's hard to watch that, you know, when you have that in the back of your mind. Brian, did you see the new Stooges movie?
I haven't seen it, no.
I'd be curious to hear your take on that.
Yeah, because I like the Stooges. I watched them when I was younger, but
You're like,
haven't
but I
seen them in
grew
years.
up and I've left those things behind, unlike some people. Not
No,
pointing
I
fingers.
don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm just a casual fan, so I wonder if I would be able to enjoy it.
It does have Snooki in it and the rest of the Jersey Shore people.
Sold.
Which kind of like instantly dates it in a way none of the other, like the original Stooges shorts, are not dated, you know.
right.
One last bit in the reboot is news that just broke earlier this week, and you guys probably have no recollection of this, but they are remaking Manimal.
No, I saw that you put something up about this. I have no idea what that is.
Sean, you ever heard of Manimal?
I only remember the opening credit sequence because you showed it to me.
Because I make it my business to retain knowledge of this absolutely forgettable dreck that, you know, I don't know. I mean, it's actually a problem because I retain this stuff and I don't know useful things like the Pythagorean theorem or my kids' birthdays or things like that. But you know, I did a Nostalgia Theater earlier this year just ripping on Manimal, which is, as the title implies, a show about a man who becomes animals. That's
so
it.
he morphs.
He morphs
into different animals.
He morphs into
sort of half man, half animal.
No. Yeah, he turns so, but he only becomes two animals. He becomes an eagle and a panther. And here's the best part: like the opening credits are just cheesy and lame and whatever, and then you're like, well, what's the deal with Manimal? I mean, how did he become this Manimal?
What's the deal with Manimal?
That's the first thing you think. And so there's this opening narration by William Conrad. You guys remember he was Jake and the Fat Man. He was the Fat Man.
Ah.
And he was also he was the narrator on Rocky and Bullwinkle. That's what you guys probably know him from.
Oh yeah.
So
that's the same guy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The Fat Man from Jake and the Fat Man was the narrator of. He narrated a bunch of shows, but you guys probably know him as the guy from Rocky and Bullwinkle. So he narrates this thing where he's like, Dr. Jonathan Chase, you know, he went to the deepest regions of Africa where he learned the mystical power of, you know, becoming
Manimaling.
Yeah, and I'm just like, that's all you need to say, like, well, he Africa and Manimal.
Dr. Jonathan Chase. Wealthy, young, handsome. A man with the brightest of futures. A man with the darkest of pasts. From Africa's deepest recesses to the rarefied peaks of Tibet. Heir to his father's legacy and the world's darkest mysteries.
My son, you must have faith and learn. This is not the end. This is the beginning.
Jonathan Chase, master of the secrets that divide man from animal. Animal from man. Manimal.
They don't explain it at all. Like, how does he have this ability? So it's this horrible, ridiculous TV show, and it was created by a guy named Glenn A. Larson, who also created a show called Automan.
Now that I want to see.
Well, here's my theory about this. Okay, this is, and I wrote this. My theory is that Glenn Larson came up with his show's title first. So he's like resting his feet on an ottoman, and he's like, "Hey, give me the ottoman, ottoman, ottoman," you know. And then he has to come up with the show.
So
Well,
it's
it's
not,
like-
he's not a half man, half automobile. He's a half man, half ottoman.
No, the premise of Automan was that he's like, dude, I can't even. It's basically he's a computer program created by Desi Arnaz Jr.
Okay.
Now, Desi Arnaz Jr. as a character, not Desi Arnaz. Like Desi Arnaz isn't the character on the show. You know, he's playing somebody.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't. And
does.
he basically creates this guy who kind of looks like Tron.
Okay.
So both of these shows actually premiered at around the same time, within a few months of each other, and they both lasted like a week and a half. And this guy, Glenn, you got to realize. Remember a few weeks ago where I was ripping on Dino De Laurentiis?
Oh yeah.
And how he just wiped his ass across the 1980s.
Uh-huh.
Well, Glenn Larson is to like sci-fi TV what Dino De Laurentiis was for sci-fi movies.
All right.
He
So you won't clap for him when he gets his Lifetime Achievement Award.
I most certainly will not. Yeah, he created the original Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
And Buck Rogers, you know, so a bunch of crap. So anyway, Manimal. My point is, I did this thing on my blog in my Nostalgia Theater where I was just tearing at a new one, and I'm like, they haven't released it on DVD because no one's interested. Who the hell cares? And then earlier this week, wouldn't you know, Sony Pictures like, yeah, we're turning that into a movie. And so my
wait, you wrote that before that was announced?
I wrote a thing about Manimal back in January.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
Well, this is what happens when I need to fill a Nostalgia Theater slot every week.
I wonder if somebody at Sony Pictures is reading your blog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, this show that Zachy pooped on, I smell gold in them thar hills. You
And
know?
you wrote that Alf article?
Yeah.
And now there's going to be an Alf movie?
That's true. There you go. That Alf article, by the way, is like one of my most read posts of all time.
Is it really?
It's been read
Dude,
like...
call me crazy. I love Alf. Like, I really want this movie to not be the movie it's probably going to be.
I think
what I mean?
I want Alf to have ended the same way it did in the TV show, where he's captured by the FBI, who lead him off to be dissected and eventually killed. That's the Alf ending. I think we should leave it at.
That was a very confusing time for being 12 years old, or however old I was when that series finale happened.
That was intense.
Well, they thought they were coming back, I think, right?
They had to have.
They made a TV movie after that.
Yeah, like 5 years later. Yeah, it was called Project Alf.
Yeah, wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
But yes, it was. And the only thing I remember about it was there was a soldier it was his job to guard Alf, and they were like hiding in a motel room, and Alf was just jumping on the bed, and the soldier was like, "Will you please stop it?" That's the only thing I remember about it.
That's what you remember. I'm pretty sure you can watch the whole thing online.
I will probably try to find it.
Yeah, in fact,
That's not a joke.
For those of you who are listening, go to my blog, Zachy'sCorner.com, and look in the archives for my post on Alf, because I believe I linked to the first part of the Alf TV movie, which stars, by the way, hang his head in shame, Martin Sheen.
Oh.
Yeah, so he needed to put an addition on his house or something. That was in his weird spell where he was like, "Oh, Spawn? Yeah, sure, I'll do that." Oh, Alf? Okay, you know. Yeah, that wasn't very good.
My son's in rehab again.
I know, really. Well, I don't know, man. Martin Sheen kind of reinvented himself as a respectable, with the West Wing and stuff. But there was a while there where he was just kind of, if a script dropped in his vicinity, he would do it.
Yeah.
It was kind of sad. But regardless, Manimal, the movie, we can look forward to that. So that's that exists, or it may exist at some point. Moving on, we inaugurate a new segment for today's episode, which is, as we've said in the past, the purpose of the Movie Film Podcast is to talk about the new goings-on in movies, which we've done for the past hour or so. But it's also to dig back and look at some of the films that are very good, some of the films that are very bad, throughout sort of the history of our lives, really. And rather than have to pick and choose the good and the bad, I thought it might be fun to break it up. So the new segment we inaugurate this episode is the movie film Crap Shoot, where we pick a piece of crap and we shoot at it. And I thought what better time to look back at the 1995 Judge Dredd movie starring Sylvester Stallone.
Let's do it.
Yeah, which is a true classic of campy crap.
When there is crime in society, there is no justice.
As a city, we continue to grow.
73 citizen riots.
Come and get us! Throw on your weapons and prepare to be judged! Justice!
Court's adjourned.
Ready?
You're a legend. You were my finest student.
Get Dredd!
Dredd, you're under arrest.
What's the charge?
Murder.
The evidence has been falsified!
Guilty as charged.
We got a lot in common.
I'll be the judge of that.
First of all, have you guys have seen it, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Brian, have you seen Judge Dredd?
I have not.
You've never seen Judge Dredd?
Wow.
I've never seen Judge Dredd.
You're not missing much.
You are not. You know, I can take you back to my sort of my mindset. I think Judge Dredd is one of the first instances I can think of where I was desperately psyching myself up to like a movie that was not good.
Right.
You know, which is something I've ended up doing a lot in the years since. But Judge Dredd is really the first time I can think of. I mean, this came out summer of 95. This was late June of 95. So in other words, they were kind of, this was released by Disney. I mean, they were setting it up to be kind of the big 4th of July movie that year.
This was after Demolition Man, correct?
Yeah, Demolition Man was 1993, I believe.
Because I remember feeling that way with Demolition Man, what you just said, where I was trying to convince myself I really enjoyed it, when in fact it was just a big steaming pile of dookie.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think Demolition Man is almost better than Judge Dredd. Although I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like, do you want to get punched in the face or kicked in the groin? You know, they both have Rob Schneider in them, so we're starting to see the connective tissue. Judge Dredd, I mean, you know, just to put this in perspective, I mean, for me, I've known about the character since I was a little kid. We were visiting England. We were visiting London, so this would have been in the late 80s, mid 80s. And I saw a copy of 2000 AD, which is it's a bi-weekly comic book that's still published in England.
Wait, you were in England in the mid 80s?
I visited, yeah.
So did I.
I'm surprised we didn't meet.
That's not true. I was never there.
Oh, okay. Well, that was a digression that went absolutely nowhere, so I appreciate that.
I went much later.
But so this is like the mid '80s, and I saw a copy of 2000 AD, and I asked my uncle who owned it, and I was like, "Oh, who's that?" You know, I mean, Judge Dredd. He has this great, just iconic look. He says, "Oh, that's Judge Dredd. He's a big hero here," you know. And so ever since then, like I'd always had like a soft spot for the character, and I used to read the comics whenever I was able to. So I'd really been looking forward to this movie, and it is, it's just a catastrophe. And what makes it sort of a double catastrophe is the caliber of cast that they signed up.
Yeah.
You know, okay, Sylvester Stallone notwithstanding, Rob Schneider notwithstanding. I mean, you've got Max von Sydow, you've got Jürgen Prochnow, you've got Diane Lane is in there, Armand Assante.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's a really like. You know, I mean, if you look at it objectively, this is like a Batman Forever or Batman Begins, type lineup of talent.
It's not going that far, but
well, no, I mean, let's be real, right? Like they weren't phoning it in, and getting whatever. Right. I mean, they had some legit actors in there.
Yeah, totally.
But the movie's just a complete mess. And the biggest mistake it makes right up top is that it violates the cardinal rule of Judge Dredd, which is that, you know, the character does not remove his mask, his helmet.
Why is that?
Well, as near as I can figure, I think it serves as first of all, it's like a good character hook for the comics because it kind of makes him unique. But I think it serves as a metaphor for the idea. The premise is obviously this is sort of this dystopian future where law and order are so out of control that instead of police officers and a justice system, we have judges who serve as law enforcement.
Right.
Right. So the idea is that Judge Dredd is the face of a faceless system. So the law, justice has no face. So I believe that's kind of the thought process that went into it.
Do the other ones show their face? The other judges?
They do. Well, it's to some extent. I mean, it's like if you're talking about the comic books, they do, but it's we all see them wearing the helmets. So they all kind of look the same. The only thing that distinguishes them is that they have badges that have their names on them. So I get it as a conceit, like it's hard to pull off in the film. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I suppose they could have done something where his face is constantly hidden or whatever. But I mean, they set up a story. They created a story where he has to take his helmet off, otherwise it doesn't work.
Is it about buying a new hat?
It's like I don't know what to wear.
No, take that damn helmet off.
He gets arrested, Judge Dredd, because he's accused of a crime that he didn't commit, as they all are, and he has a famous, he says, "I didn't break the law. I am the law.
I am the law."
I remember that.
Yeah, which is that's a great iconic line of Judge Dredd where he says, "I am the law," but it sounds just ridiculous coming from Sylvester Stallone.
The law! I never broke the law! I am the law! You betray the law! Law!
Mr. I am the law.
So he gets sent off to jail, and then he hooks up with Rob Schneider, and if you can believe it, it gets even worse from there.
I remember. I liked Rob Schneider at the time because I liked him from Saturday Night Live.
Right.
But him being in that movie reeked of when your parents let you borrow the car, but they force you to take your younger brother with you to go to the mall with your friends,
That was the trade-off. Like, okay, well, you can make...
Sly will do this movie, but you got to let Rob Schneider play, too.
Oh. Why do I got to do that? Oh.
Hey, Sly!
Hey, how's it going?
I'm the stapler.
You know what I remember? What I remember most. I mean, it's funny actually because this is all very fresh in my mind because just as I bought the Indiana Jones Blu-rays, they also released Judge Dredd on Blu-ray 2 days ago. So I was like, oh well, I got to own this. So whose fault is that? That would be mine. So I popped it in for the first. I mean, I haven't seen it in God like 10 years, And I was just mad at myself. $7 down the drain, But he wears, he looks goofy because he's wearing spandex, like spandex with armor over it. Well, what I remember about that movie is that Stallone was really hardcore, he was really into it. Because my thinking at the time is that he was kind of on the wane, so maybe he was thinking if I get another franchise going for myself, that'll keep me in, that'll keep me going for a little while. Judge Dredd kind of killed his career for a while, but I remember he was on the Tonight Show promoting it, and this was summer of '95, so this is the summer that Batman Forever came out. And Batman Forever had, at the time, I believe, the biggest opening weekend of all time. It was a huge hit. It ended up being, either the biggest or one of the biggest hits of the year. Yeah. And so Jay Leno was telling Stallone, hey, you going to be Batman? Yeah, and Stallone, Stallone references a crossover comic between Batman and Judge Dredd. There's been a bunch of Batman Judge Dredd crossovers, which are very good, by the way. They're worth checking out. But here's the interesting thing. Stallone is oh, yeah, there was a crossover where I met Batman and him and me team up. He's talking about Judge Dredd in the first person. Which, at the time, I was that sounds unhealthy to me. I remember watching that. But it cost $90 million, and it made $113 million, I believe, globally. So that's a pretty big loss.
Oh, it wasn't even a hit in the UK, huh?
Well, I can't imagine that people in the UK were happy about how the character got Americanized.
Right.
Let me put it this way: it grossed about $35 million domestically against a $90 million budget.
Wow.
It was directed by Danny Cannon, who, like, this was like his first big Hollywood movie and his last.
Yeah, he did one of the. Was it like I Know What You Did Last Summer? Or one of those, like, after Scream came out, we had that.
Yeah, he did. I Still Know. He did the second one. Not even the first one. He did the second one.
Remember there was that run of like, let's put as many WB stars as we can into a slasher movie?
Oh, my God, yeah, like Urban Legend.
Legend, yeah, all that crap.
The first Final Destination.
Yeah.
A whole mess of those. Yeah, he did the second one, not the first one.
Okay.
And that would have been the end, but he did the pilot of CSI.
Oh, he lucked out.
And now he's probably worth more than Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just based on all the residuals from that show. But yeah, John Wagner, who created Judge Dredd, there's a quote from him when he talked about it just earlier this year. He said the story had nothing to do with Judge Dredd, and Judge Dredd wasn't really Judge Dredd. So I think that tells you everything about that movie. It's I don't even know if it's like a so bad it's good movie, because it's just hard to. The one thing I would say I would recommend about it is that it has a pretty good score by Alan Silvestri, which is Alan Silvestri, to me, I'm kind of hot and cold with him. I think when he's on, like Back to the Future, he's really on, and occasionally he's just kind of doing like the A-Team and G.I. Joe, or just kind of whatever. Right. I thought that Judge Dredd had a pretty good score, though. So in terms of the crapshoot, like I said, I'm not sure if this is a so bad it's good movie, but it is so bad. It's just so bad. I mean, when you think about it, Judge Dredd is kind of the last time Stallone like headlined a movie with the expectations that it would do well.
Right.
Because after that, he did Daylight,
which was awful,
which was not very good, and then he did Copland, which was good, but it's not really like that's not like a quote unquote Stallone movie.
Yeah, and what was it? He did Get Carter, right?
Get Carter and Driven. I don't know which came first.
Driven is awful.
Yeah, you saw Driven. I never saw that.
Yeah, because that was Rennie Harlan, right?
That was Rennie Harlan. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Driven,
and you'd think like, he's reteaming with the guy who made Cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger, yeah.
But yeah, that was unfortunate. Yeah, it's too. I'll be honest. I've always had a soft spot for Sylvester Stallone.
This is just a nice guy.
Seems like a cool guy, and I mean,
Rocky,
just because of Rocky, and to some extent because of Rambo, which I've mentioned before. One of the first movies I ever saw in the theater. Just I'll always have that soft spot, but yeah, he had a run there. They just showed Stop or My Mom Will Shoot the other day, and that's just like you don't have anybody to blame but yourself. Like
I haven't thought about that movie in forever.
Yeah, well, a script lands on your desk. It's called Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. I can see why he would read it out of like mild curiosity, but there's no way you can tell me that he read that script and was like, "Oh, this is the thing for me."
I don't know, man. That Estelle Getty was pretty alluring in her time.
Okay, we will move on from there because there's nowhere else to go after that. Okay, so I remember a couple years ago when or whenever Rue McClanahan passed away after Estelle Getty, after what's her name, B. Arthur. I think Patton Oswalt tweeted like, now that Rue McClanahan is dead, does Betty White like go through the quickening where she absorbs all of their powers, like Highlander, So moving on, we did the movie film Crapshoot. Now let's move on to movies that matter, which is something I've been looking forward to talking with you guys about. Now this episode is being released on September 24th, which is
correct.
Which is one day before my birthday, by the way, for everyone who wants to wish me happy birthday. And so that date has some significance because it is the same date that Shaun of the Dead was released.
Do you ever think that modern life is not for you? Do you do the same dead-end job every day? Is your love life dying on its feet?
To a wonderful mom.
Oh, have you ever felt that you're turning into
the end of the world?
a zombie. Maybe you're not alone.
Piss it.
Although no one official is prepared to comment, religious groups are calling it Judgment Day.
It is vital that you stay in your homes. Avoid all physical contact with the assailants.
So, what's the plan? Bash him in the head, that seems to work out.
Why have we got to go Lizzie?
Because I love her.
All right, okay.
Do something! Right there.
Hold it there.
I'm coming! Here they come!
I was introduced to this movie by you, Sean, I believe.
Ah.
And it's something. I watched it at just the right time because I think you guys know I'm a pretty big fan of zombie movies.
Yeah.
But only certain zombie movies. I have a pretty high qualitative bar for zombie movies. So for me, it's like the George A. Romero flicks from Night of the Living Dead on, and then there's Shaun of the Dead. What is it about this movie that makes it matter to you, Sean?
I think at the time, I mean, it struck the right chords at the right time, sort of being introduced to the Edgar Wright school of filmmaking. It was a very refreshing and inspiring change of pace, because I remember being a fan of Guy Ritchie, like after Snatch came out, and just that sort of, that sort of funky, kinetic style of filmmaking where he utilized every facet of production, specifically like sound effects played such a huge part in punctuating like his camera moves and his editing tricks. And I think that Edgar Wright really borrowed a lot from that, and then was amped up even more in Hot Fuzz, and then even more in like Scott Pilgrim. But just I remember reading on the back of the DVD, or maybe not the back of the DVD, but something somewhere said that if you like Monty Python and you like zombie movies, you'll love Shaun of the Dead. Which was enough to get me in. It's not exactly an accurate statement, but
the humor is very different. I would not consider it Python-esque at all.
No. It's very dry and very everybody plays it pretty straight.
Yeah,
but I don't know. There's something about British comedies where there's almost like it's like a quirky confidence or confident quirkiness. Yeah. Whichever one makes sense. It's like an unparalleled cool factor with the sort of the British style of storytelling and comedy.
Yeah.
And I think directors like Edgar Wright and Guy Ritchie and Terry Gilliam, I think there are a lot of people in the U.S. that try to be like them, but just can't capture that.
Well, Terry Gilliam is American.
Is he?
Terry Gilliam? Yeah, he's American.
Oh, well. His movies feel very British.
Well, he's sort of, I guess we can say he's been grandfathered in because he's one of the Pythons. So,
but yeah, no, I mean, I just like what I like about that movie about Shaun of the Dead is that how it takes itself seriously as a zombie movie.
That was exactly the point I was going to bring up. Is that it stays true to its world.
Yeah, it's not a spoof by any means.
Exactly, it's not. And another movie I was thinking of, which is, I mean, it's tonally completely different, but it was Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, great example.
It's similar in that same sense where it creates a world and it finds humor within it rather than sort of looking inside from the outside.
Yeah.
And throwing stones at it. And
it has heart, and it's painful and hilarious, and it pulls all the right strings.
Well, it's essentially it's a comedy with a zombie movie happening in the background.
Right.
And I saw Shaun of the Dead shortly after I kind of just made my way through the whole Romero series. So I was very familiar with the internal logic of the way a Romero zombie flick works, and what I appreciated about Shaun of the Dead was how it plays within those same rules.
Right.
And so you can buy this idea that, Dawn of the Dead is happening kind of in the background.
Yeah.
The original Dawn of the Dead. And it's equal parts terrifying as it is funny. The moments, when Bill Nighy, who plays, Shaun is played by Simon Pegg. Bill Nighy becomes zombified essentially, and it's
in the car, right? Yeah.
In the car, right? And it's he's bitten, and again, if you know the lingo of these movies, you can see what's going to happen, and it plays straight with that. But it's clearly made by somebody who loves the genre,
right?
But it's this wonderful moment where Shaun is not a fan of his stepfather, and yet they get this moment where it's kind of like it's this emotional parting of ways and stuff. I mean, just very well done,
Yeah, yeah.
Brian, let's hear from you. I mean, what do you think about Shaun of the Dead?
Yeah, my introduction to it was via Sean. It was one of those films, you go to college or whatever, and everyone has this movie, like, oh, you got to see this movie. You haven't seen this movie? And sometimes you're like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. Or sometimes for some odd reason, when you keep hearing a title like that recommended to you, you're like, you know what? I'm going to buy it and bury it in the backyard just to, like, prove a point to you. You know what I mean? And I don't know why, but this was one of those movies for me where I was just like, all right, I'll watch it someday. And then Sean, I think you just bought it because I think you had read the description, you heard it was good, so you just bought it. So I remember we sat down, and I'm not a big horror guy, I should say, and I just don't get into them. I don't hate them, I just don't like them, And so I was sort of skeptical going in, and that's why I think I love this movie so much, is because it's not. It's what you just said. It's a story. It's a comedy that happens to take place in a zombie movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And if it was handled by someone who wasn't as clever or British, you know what I mean? Like if it'd been made in America, it would have just been a bad spoof film.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it has all the, like you're saying, all the nuance and details that horror fans or zombie fans would love, but it also has this really fleshed out, pardon the pun, story about friendship and about, I mean, my goodness, the stuff between Simon Pegg and his mother.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? It's amazing. It's an amazing story that happens to take place in a horror film, and it's hilarious. So what a weird thing. I mean, I don't think very many people could pull that off.
Daphs, for Christ's sake!
She's going to come back? She's not going anywhere. Well, she'll change. She's my mum. She's a zombie. Don't say that! Move aside. I'm going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't point that gun at my mum!
Sean, calm down!
Don't point that gun at Barbara!
It don't exacerbate things!
What does that mean?
This isn't exactly fair!
Here. It's okay.
Please, can we just stop and think about this?
Tell him to put the gun down! Look, Lizzie, she's going to change. You know I'm right. And when she does, she'll come back and she'll kill all of us. That's what your ex can't seem to realise. That's what this is about, isn't it? It's just he doesn't like me. He's always hated me and now he wants to shoot my mom. She's not. You never thought I deserved her, that I was good enough. What are you talking about? Oh, come on. We all know you're in love with Liz. That is not true. Yes, it is. That is not true.
Yes, it is.
What?
I know you only hung out with me at college to get close to Liz, and when she knocked you back, I was there to pick up the pieces. I've come to terms with that, Daphs. Why can't you?
Lizzie, I want you to know that my feelings for you have always been essentially...
David, please, there are slightly more pressing matters at hand here.
Yeah, like the fact that Daphs is pointing a gun at my mum. I'm not the one who's being unreasonable, Pickle. For Christ's sake, she's not dead. She's finished. For a hero, you're quite a hypocrite. You're the one that's gone from being a chartered accountant to Charlton Heston. I'm not a chartered accountant. Well, you look like one. Yeah. I'm a lecturer. You're a twat. Yeah. She's not your mum anymore. In a minute, she'll be just another zombie. Don't say that! We're not using the Z word!
Please, can we just calm the fuck down?
It's a film that really rewards repeat viewings.
Yeah.
Because you get to see a lot of stuff playing out. Like if you're paying attention in the background, you sort of see the progression of the zombie apocalypse happening in the background.
Yeah.
But you're not aware of it that first time around because you're focused on everything happening in the foreground.
Yeah,
Right.
when they repeat that tracking shot of him walking out of his place and going down the street to the store.
Yeah, right. That's like the most obvious example. And there's other things too, where the characters, when they're leaving the pub, like in the middle of the night. And I mean, it's obviously Simon Pegg and Edgar Wright, did Spaced, which is the sitcom that they worked on before this, or while they made Shaun of the Dead, I think. And that was also kind of very geek centric. And this is this. You guys, have you guys ever seen Spaced?
I have. I can't bring myself to watch it yet for some reason.
Why is that?
I just don't want to be disappointed.
That's it. Brian, I mean, what do you think? Have you seen Spaced?
Yes. Sean, I feel sort of like you in a way. I did like it, but it is like watching something that you love and then watching the earlier, rougher version of that.
Interesting.
And so there's moments in it that I really connected with and thought were very funny, and then other moments that didn't feel so polished.
Right.
But I only know that because I've seen the polished version of that.
Yeah.
So, I've had people just, praise Space to no end, and I felt weird because I didn't feel the same way. But I enjoyed it. I just didn't love it like so many other people have.
I can't say I disagree with anything that you're saying. I mean, I think that's very apt. That it is like seeing the work in progress.
Yeah.
I think Shaun of the Dead is sort of the culmination of that. And to what we were talking about earlier, I think that as far as being able to match what that film does, I think Zombieland is about as close an approximation as we're liable to get here in the United States.
Yeah.
Sean, have you seen Zombieland?
I have not seen the whole thing. FX, I caught it on FX, parts of it. I had already had the Bill Murray moment spoiled for me, which was disappointing.
Yeah.
Because that was like my favorite part of what I saw.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't help but feel like it was a movie that was trying to be Shaun of the Dead, or like, like America's answer to Shaun of the Dead, or whatever.
Which it is. I mean, that's basically what it is.
Yeah. So there was that part of me that was like, I'm very attached to Shaun of the Dead, which I like. So this sort of imposter movie, I didn't quite allow myself to open up to it completely.
Yeah.
I didn't dislike anything that I saw, but it didn't necessarily blow me away.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it's I would say that it's definitely worth watching. When I went to see when I went to see Zombieland, it was me and a friend, and my brother-in-law came, and he'd never seen a zombie movie,
right?
And the first 10 minutes of Zombieland is basically like a slow-mo depiction of the zombie apocalypse happening.
Right.
So it's basically you're seeing these zombies just chasing after people, killing them, eating them. I mean, it's the whole thing, And literally, my brother-in-law left before it said directed by. He's like, guys, I'll see you. It's been real. I'm good. Thanks. And it's one of those things where it's like it's definitely like it starts out in a way where it's like it's asking you to tough it out through there, But I do think there's a lot to like. I mean, yeah, obviously the Shaun of the Dead comparison is gonna be an unfavorable one, just because I think Shaun of the Dead sets a pretty high bar. But I do think it's worth watching. And again, I say this as kind of I'm sort of the resident zombie fan. I mean, I think I'm a fan of Walking Dead. I don't think you guys watch that show.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what you said with Shaun of the Dead. There's something like I'm with Brian. I'm not a big fan of monster movies or getting or gore or getting grossed out. Yet I can watch.
And just to be clear, by the way, I am not either. So the weird thing is, despite that, I like zombie flicks.
Yet I can watch Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
Basically at any time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
over
like
dinner,
Walking
even.
Dead.
Especially over dinner.
Eating a meatloaf.
Wait, did you guys see Cabin in the Woods?
That's the Joss Whedon flick, right?
Yeah.
He
didn't. He wrote it.
He wrote
didn't
it.
direct it.
No, I hear good things though.
Yeah, just as we're talking about this right now, I'm reminded of it, where it's a horror film, but it's more. There's more going on.
It's horror, but morer.
Yeah.
Do you recommend Cabin in the Woods?
I do, yes.
All right.
And don't read anything about it.
Okay.
But it is, talking to fellow squeamish people here, or at least with Sean here.
I am squeamish also.
It's a horror movie. You know what I mean? It's kind of gory at times, but there's a lot of really clever things going on.
I mean, I saw the trailer for that. It just looked like, it just looked like another torture porn thing to me.
Yeah, exactly. And that's such the tricky thing about the film. It's hard to really advertise what it's about.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it.
All right,
now, that one wasn't it like that had been sitting in a drawer for a couple of years? And
yes, that's true. And I can't remember why. Did it have something to do with who owned it?
It may have. I mean, maybe I'm getting my Chris Hemsworth movies confused, but I believe both that one and Red Dawn, the new Red Dawn, have been collecting dust somewhere.
But it's good.
Yeah,
it's almost like this generation's Scream.
Okay.
Really? Oh, you mean Scream 4 wasn't this generation's Scream? Or as I call it, Scriforum?
Zachy.
Scriforum. Well, if you look at the typeface, that's one of my pet peeves with titles that do that.
Like Seven.
Lincoln.
Seven. What does Lincoln do, Brian?
No, they should have put a number in there.
Oh, so
you want to get the kids to get that street.
Well, or maybe not. I mean, Scriforum didn't do that well, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually.
They had that Jackie Robinson trailer. They had Jay-Z.
The Jay-Z song, right?
Yeah.
Jay-Z
you
song.
Gotta get the kids somehow.
Well, Old Indy isn't going to do it.
No, I liked it too. Actually, I thought it worked pretty well.
I think it's a good. It's a good trailer. It's a better trailer than the Lincoln trailer, I would say. Or not. Wow.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Less fades.
Speaking of Chris Hemsworth, speaking of Red Dawn, I actually in my cultural expression class, I actually showed my students the original Red Dawn.
Really?
From the 1980s, just as sort of as an 80s artifact, just to give a sense of what the cultural climate at the time was like. And I'm always fascinated by how kids today react to these movies from before they were even born, before their cultural awareness was even shaped.
Right. And
to have C. Thomas Howell shout "Wolverines" and they just bust out laughing hysterically. I mean knee slapping, and when characters get killed and everything. I mean, it's just very interesting to me how. And by the way, I mean, I don't mind Red Dawn. It's not a favorite of mine, but it definitely has a lot of cultural currency, certainly in our demographic. At least the sort of the iconography does. But to see how kids today perceive it. Is always very interesting. Although I will say this, talking to my students is always depressing too, because I just heard a question that I never thought I would hear, which is, who's Sean Connery?
What?
Yeah, well, because you realize Sean Connery has been retired now for about 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is like half these kids' lives.
Yeah, he was actually he was featured on ESPN because he was watching the U.S. Open tennis tournament.
Okay.
So in the finals they cut to and there's like, Sean Connery was in the stand.
Yeah.
He for I don't know, how old is he now? He looks a lot younger than Harrison Ford does. I'll tell you that.
Really?
Yeah. Looks pretty good.
He's 10 years older than him, so he's got to be in his early 80s.
Yeah, I mean he doesn't look.
Him and William Shatner are about the same age.
Dude, he looks at least 20 years younger than William Shatner.
Is that right? Wow. It's weird for me to think about how Sean Connery was my age when he was in Dr. No.
Cool.
Whoa.
I mean, and I mean, it's like, it's like looking at Christopher Reeve in Superman, and he, in that movie, he's like 7 years younger than me.
That's crazy.
But when you watch, like even now when I see that, I'm like, no, he's older than me. He's Christopher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's weird how they're just. It's like basketball players who are younger than us now.
Yeah, that's sad.
Like we'll always think of them as being older than us.
Yeah,
it's strange, you know. Anyway, that's a good place to leave our conversation. We had a great chat about Shaun of the Dead. I want to rewatch that now, even though I just rewatched it a couple days ago. Actually, before I forget, I've been threatening this for a few weeks now. I have finally set up a dedicated email account.
Holler.
Yeah, so to everyone listening, please do send us your comments and questions. We are always interested in hearing what you have to say, what we can improve, things you want us to cover, things you don't want us to cover. Anything and everything is welcome. Email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com.
Cool.
That's moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. Pretty easy to remember.
Brian, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at my blog, which is at
Wait, Brian.
Yes.
Don't finish that. Let's just kill some time here. So, Zachy, you're a teacher, huh?
I am.
You like teaching?
I don't mind it.
You good at what you do?
That's what I'm told. I'm the best there is at what I do.
David Letterman. This is like a David Letterman interview.
Patafuco fiber. Patafuco fiber.
So you're in the Spider-Man, huh?
Yes, I am.
I haven't watched Letterman in a long time.
I actually just watched him yesterday for the first time in God knows how long.
Yeah,
both those guys, I think, it's getting time to.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Conan guy, and I catch Kimmel from time to time.
Letterman
moving.
Gave up a while ago, didn't he?
Say that again.
Letterman seemed like a while ago he just sort of stopped caring, which I like.
Yeah, he's almost more appealing now that he doesn't care. I mean, at this point, he's pretty much an institution, and no one's going to take that away from him.
Right.
So he gets to leave on his own terms. It's weird how Jay Leno kind of like peed in the pool as far as his legacy goes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, whether rightly or wrongly, and obviously there's a lot of sides to the whole thing that happened with Conan O'Brien and whatnot. But regardless, like he will never be thought of like Johnny Carson is, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like there's like a very interesting movie to be made about that, about the second part of the Late Night Wars. Like they already did a movie about the Letterman Leno thing, but like adapt the new book about the Late Night Wars could be something interesting.
Well, hey, I'd like to introduce a segment since you schmoes didn't finish your segments that were supposed to be done.
Okay, please do, Sean.
Let's see. I guess the tentative title could be Movie Film Fantasy Camp. And this could be something, and even the listeners can write in with suggestions. It could be something basic about, who would we cast, like our dream cast for a particular movie, or, what song would be playing during the end credits of a movie about ourselves, or something, anything like that. Any sort of hypothetical fantasy movie-related question. But a question that I was going to pose back when we did our Schwarzenegger segment was, which Arnold Schwarzenegger movie character would you most want to spend a romantic camping weekend with?
Wait, a romantic camping weekend?
Answer question. Doesn't have to be kissing involved, but there could be, like candles and campfires and snuggling.
Okay, can I just say this is the weirdest question? I have no response to this.
What about you, Brian?
Okay, Brian. What do you think, Brian?
John Kimball.
If it helps you, Zachy, it doesn't have to be romantic.
Fine. Which character from a Schwarzenegger movie
would I like to go fishing with? Let's say deep sea fishing, and we get lost, and we have to use our wits and know-how and paper clips to make a sundial.
Yeah, you guys are lost in the woods. Or on
I would
go
with John Kimball.
Kindergarten Cop. Why is that?
Kindergarten Cop. He seems like he knows how to. He's a good cop. Probably got a lot of know-how, but at the same time, he's good with kids.
He's a cop, you idiot.
I would sink the boat. I would accidentally sink the boat. So he wouldn't get too mad at me because he's okay with it.
So you'd be like Homer, Bart's vision of Homer. I'm the captain. My
son is Bart.
I use up all the batteries listening to my Walkman.
I would say either.
Can't be either. You just gotta stick with one.
All right. His daughter from Commando after she's grown up.
No, you can't be... No.
You said a character from a Schwarzenegger movie.
No, what Schwarzenegger character?
What Schwarzenegger? You just changed the construction of the sentence there.
Yeah, well, you didn't have the trivia question, so answer the question.
All right, fine.
Play along.
Terminator.
Really?
From T2.
You'd want to go
Terminator?
camping with a T-800?
Yeah, dude. He'd be like knocking down trees with his hands. He'd be like fighting bears and stuff.
Cyberdyne Systems Model 101.
Yeah, it'd be fun to watch. Come on.
And then at night, you guys would be camping under the stars, and he'd be like, Zaki, why do you cry?
Yeah. Well, you'd have to fix the chip, though, in his head.
Well, that's understood. Right? Actually, let me rephrase. Now that I think about it, you know who I'd want to go camping with? Dutch from Predator.
Oh, yeah.
Because he knows how to build some stuff, man.
Yeah. You'd have a good shelter and probably a lot of boar meat.
Yeah, exactly. Boar meat.
Remember the handshake? Remember the Carl Weathers Schwarzenegger handshake in that movie?
You son of a bitch.
And then just the colossal of the gigantic muscle.
Yeah.
Muscly arms slapping. Oh, man. That was...
I remember. Do you guys remember, by the way, Carl Weathers did he did a skit on Saturday Night Live where, like, this is after Schwarzenegger got elected governor and Jesse Ventura became governor of Minnesota, I think. And so Carl Weathers is like, I want to be governor too. He's like, vote for me, the black guy from Predator, you know. Although there were two black guys in Predators.
Bill Duke was at home like, hey.
By the way, you guys know who was originally who played the Predator originally?
Prince.
Not even close.
You see Prince like cowering in the trees.
Hey guys,
stalking.
No, you know who they originally cast as the Predator was JCVD.
Marlon Brando.
No, it was Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, but they fired him.
I know what JCVD stands for.
Okay, well, I mean, when you said Marlon Brando, I didn't know. But yeah, they had to fire him because he's kind of an a-hole, apparently.
Really?
Wow.
Well, that was part of it, and also he's too short. Yeah, but both, like it's A and B. It's both of the above.
And on that note,
yeah, seriously, that's like uncomfortable.
Want to know where you can
stuff.
find my work on the internet?
No,
yeah,
that was fun. So if any of the listeners out there, you want to pose any wacky, could be as wacky as you want or as serious as you want, but any sort of movie-related, hypothetical fantasy for the three of us to act out.
You know what? As goofy as your first question was, that is a great idea. I would be curious for, someone we don't know necessarily to pose a question like that.
Yeah,
to us
pose
that we
a
have to
question
answer.
or answer questions that we've posed on the show ourselves. So just
there we go.
listen to us.
I feel like we're opening up a door that we're gonna regret at some point because we're gonna get questions that we can't answer.
Is it true if I kill you, I become you?
What is that from?
The Simpsons. That was one of my all-time favorite. Mo, he's talking to Rainier Wolfcastle. Yeah. He's so excited to meet a celebrity. He's like, "Is it true if I kill you, I become you?" All the rumors he's heard.
Oh my goodness. Brian, what is your nesting place on the internet?
Everythingbrian.blogspot.com.
Everything Brian. And your last post involved you cloud watching.
It did. Yes.
So
I was so excited for my weekend.
Which is what you were just going to watch the cloud.
Yes.
And how did that go for you?
It was good and ponderous.
Local man yells at cloud.
Yeah. And Sean, where can people find you?
Well, they can find me at moosehub.com. And I left off the www for you that time, Zachy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. And, of course, you can find me at ZackysCorner.com, and my movie reviews appear regularly at Huffington Post. Once again, please email us at moviefilmpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. And also, if you get a chance, if you're enjoying what we're doing, please write us a review and sing our praises on iTunes. That will also help us out.
As always, on behalf of Sean Coyle and Brian Hall, my name is Zachy Hassan. This is the Movie Film Podcast. We'll see you next time.
Welcome, friends.